Alright everybody, getting ready for the stream. I'm gonna lower the music a little bit more. It's a little hot. Okay, what do y'all think of that? Maybe I'm a little quiet. Raise myself up to about here. Maybe like this. Yeah, maybe raise myself up to about here, and then we'll have the music maybe about like this. We'll see how that sounds. Yeah, just kind of catching up to where we were last time. We're just progressing through the shadow animation. And we're just going back through kind of the rough frames and putting shadow actually on model and getting things kind of locked in. Or studio word would be for tie down. This is the tie down phase. So we're tying down the poses. Kind of like these are the roughs. Not quite thumbnails. Bit of both. Bit of thumbnail, bit of rough. And then we're gonna tie down the poses. And then there'll be cleanup and color. And lastly, maybe some visual effects. And we might switch to After Effects to do things like shadows, lightning, and some other things. And then of course the backgrounds will work on that as well. So make sure the music's going, and then I can see Twitch and YouTube. Everything looks kosher, everything looks cool and kosher. Just going to be kind of picking up exactly where I left off. And I think going forward, I'm trying to plan out the schedule better for this year. Because I have stuff going on with the gaming channel as well as the art channel. Foxatronic Arts is the art and gaming channel, and Foxatronic Gaming is the gaming channel. The Discord's also popping off a little bit. I'm actually going to share that link just so that will be in the chat for people. So let's just put that in the chat. But I think so there's the Discord link. And also the Blue Sky link. Posted to Twitch, and we're just gonna keep on going. So yeah, I think we're gonna do. I want to mix up the streams, so we'll probably do streams on off days. Kind of switch it up, maybe like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, something like that. We'll figure it out. Whatever you all prefer. If you let me know, that will also be helpful. Because it doesn't matter to me, but boy, there's just something in my throat that won't go away. Yeah, the frames we were working on last week. Gonna add some follow-through action on the squirrels as he's coming up. Settings, you can There's a setting that you can make the onion frames a little less bold, but I forget. Let me figure where that is. Of course, we'll get his ears as well. Yeah, he's coming up. So we want to put just a little bit of overlapping action, and then this is coming up, and we're just roughing it in. We'll figure out the specifics later. This is just kind of the tie downs, so that it looks better visually, and we have a better sense of, you know, Shadow's anatomy as he's moving, rather than just kind of the sketchy nonsense that we were doing before. Let's see what that looks like. I think the hook in the way his spine's kind of hooked up, it would be there a little bit, but they wouldn't go fully down. As I talked about last time, Sonic's quills are the ones that go down, and Shadow's quills go up. Sonic's quills always do this. Shadow's quills always hook up. But again, we're doing follow through in the animation, so you want to make sure that we're still following our animation principles. Also still a little undecided on the exact positioning and the size of the ears. Another thing we'll work out a bit later. I think the ears here are too small. When I was looking again at the reference, his ears are pretty prominent. So one part of me wants to make the ears smaller. They are actually larger in proportion than what I'm drawing them. And the other thing is that sometimes the ears, sometimes when you look at the ears, they're drawn kind of in this perfect triangle within a triangle. And other times we have a bit more of that 3D depth. What I mean by that is that in the movie, it's one way. You have there's the design that matches the movie pretty closely that they put in the Sonic X Shadows Generations game, and then there's the actual movie version, but they're pretty close, they're pretty identical. But there are a few minor differences. And one thing when I was redrawing the boot is that in early promotional art, there is black sections on the shoe, like here and here, that only appear in the movie, but in the early promotional art, the shoes were completely white. But again, the shoes are details that will be fixed and taken care of later as we go. For the moment, just copy these. That. Just copy these. I did not copy the ear. Like that. Again. So we're mostly just placeholder lines for the volume of the head. Rotate this just a little bit. Give that just a little bit of rotation as he's coming up. A little bit of squash and stretch. A little bit of squash before the stretch. In fact, the head on this side is a little bit exaggerated. But again, I'm just thinking my way through the squash last time. Again, let's copy that second time. Here for the moment. Squash that down a bit. Not too much. I want this to still be only going to be seen for a frame or so it's not too bad. Because here I have the quill coming right by the shoulder. Yeah, it's kind of like just... Hold on a second, I have... my cough directly into the microphone. A tickle in my throat that just wouldn't go away. But yeah, so when he's coming up, I have the quill kind of going right just below the shoulder. When he comes up, it's a little bit higher on the shoulder. Still working on this pose a little bit. Pretty close. Not exact, but pretty close. I'm still debating. I think the shoulder is going to overlap the cheek there. But here I kind of moved it out of the way a bit too far. So let's bring that back a little bit. And I forget. There is some specific overlap. Yeah, the lower one overlaps the upper one just a bit. They're pretty close, but the lower one overlaps this one because this one is starting to wrap behind the head. I guess on this one, that's sort of what's bugging me with this pose. The more I study the model, I realize some mistakes that I made last time. And trying to put in the details this early is a little bit silly. It might look better, but it is not as helpful when trying to just lock in the animation. Let's make sure that hook is nice and prominent. Quill is folding back over the back of the head. I think that's better. Because here they're kind of offset. They're different sizes, and on his head they're all pretty much the same size. So. Skin again. Onion. Oh, onion skin. Here we go. Just a little bit of squash. elongated. This one could be more like that. This ear could be here up. Down just a bit, and then the hint of that quill going behind the are a bit off as well. We'll come back to that. I think that is better when it comes up. Stretch. And then the settle. He'll hang in this pose for a minute and then he'll do the look down and zoom in. Bike poses are pretty limited, as in a few shots we're not going to see anything more than just his feet, and I haven't fully nailed down how I want the bike to look. I have done a couple of sketches on it. These frames, I think we'll do the bike jump next. I just want to duplicate the frames where his eyes start to glow. And again, that'll be a visual effect for later. So let's start blanking out these frames, which again is just blanking out the frames in this layer because they're duplicated, so we can still see the original drawing underneath for cleanup. Here. And again, like we talked about, this is all because of the drawing substitution that we learned about, which again is handy for things like lip sync. But when you're doing pose-to-pose animation, like I'm doing, you still have to be careful of this and watch what this is doing for the substitutions. Otherwise, it will try to substitute in drawings that you don't want. Which happened a couple of streams ago. And it was unclear what was happening, and then I went and studied some of the Harmony videos on drawing substitutions, and that's almost hard to see what my drawing is. And that was good. changes. And these should all be good. I thought I had done all of them last. I thought I had blanked everything out last time. And there's the end. These poses are going to be pretty similar, so I think what we'll do real quick is we're just going to make a mark there. Let Harmony know that that is a frame that we're keeping, that is a new drawing on that frame, not a substitution. Even if this pose changes, we'll leave a notation on the eyes. We'll leave a notation on the eyes that this is where his eyes are starting to get that fiery glow. He has more of the scowl. So let's also adjust the eyes a little bit, and then we'll go back and do the bike jump, and then we'll probably do rough in Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails reaction shot, since it's only the heads. But it's going to be the heads doing a reaction. So I want to kind of lock in that reaction shot as well. Let's try one thing first. Maybe the cheek. You have to think about what happens when you scowl. When I do it, when I do it with my own face, you know, that cheek, those cheeks come up a bit from the bottom. The cheeks come up from the bottom, and you really clench your teeth, and your eyebrows really come down, and there's very little space left. And that'll be more prominent in the other shot here. So let's go ahead and grab this. Shot. They're going to be looking, and then they're going to have a surprised look as it zooms out. And this here, like that. And here, I actually want them to have a little bit of a surprised expression. I might actually add an extra frame. Actually, try tilting the head back just a little bit. Since this is a nice close-up expression, let's try to tilt his head back a little bit like that. And then on the next frame, we'll tilt the maybe even exaggerate it a bit. Where's my rotation point? There it is. And now we can put the scowl back in. So again, let's raise those cheeks. Same as before, just on the close-up. Because you want kind of this to be... This is the shot that's going to sell the emotion. When it comes back to here, what was it? I think they call it a cut-in shot. Is the technical word for it. Like when you see on things like SpongeBob, where they, you know, they'll hold something in their hand, then they'll do like the really gross close-up, and then they'll cut right back to the wide shot. That's kind of what this is. So we have the pose, but it cuts into the close-up to show, you know, to emphasize the thing that's happening. So that's why the expression is more important on this pose than this pose. The expression is more important on this pose than this pose because this is where we see it first. Not quite happening the way I like. Figure that out. Noticeably bring up the eyes from here so you can see. get a nice readable change of expression. Maybe like that. Also try putting in a bit of dip right there. Bit of dip. Bit of dip as he's furrowing his brow. Overdo it. I'll also give bit of expression change on the mouth too. Bit of expression change on the mouth as well. So you can almost hear him saying, it's like, why won't you just leave me alone? It's like, why won't you just leave me alone? He says in the movie. Let's match this up a bit more with that pose. Now that we know which direction we're going in. Down as well. And then furrow in the eyebrow. And then we'll just copy the mouth position from here. Bring that down. That way these two frames will match. Touch lower right here. I do not want to lose track of the kind of the nose line between the eyes. That will help us also track where. That will help us track where this goes. his stripe and his forehead. And his eyes start to get red here. So let's give an indication of that. Again, you can play around with VFX later. We'll just be doing kind of the base colors for now. Curl up the arms and the fist. If we just do this other pose, this will be, yeah, because that will be mostly a visual effect. From here. And there's the reverse shot of Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. Let's just go ahead and put this. In this shot, I have the way I have it drawn. Sonic is the tallest, but we know that Knuckles is the tallest character of the three. So we'll fix that when we draw it, and that will be. We'll probably do that near towards the end of the stream. We'll work on them since it's. I'm not trying to do a full body shot for them. It'll just be kind of a head and shoulders. Original, he's still static, and then he starts to pull in. And while I have the pose drawn the same, we'll probably pull it in twice. We'll probably do the extreme and then do an in-between, so that the more power he's pulling in, the tighter he gets. Kind of like when anybody in Dragon Ball Z powers up, they start a bit loose, more the body tenses and all the muscles in the body tense, you get a bit more, the body kind of compresses in on itself as you're trying to gather all that energy inside of you. In Shadow's case, it's more energy that I believe is built up in his rings, but we're kind of playing with it as if it's the same dynamic. He has to control it like a muscle. This pose over. And we'll leave one arm over here. And we'll just leave the arms off to the side for reference. Move the legs down a bit. And I think what we're going to start with, is we're going to move the body around a bit more like this. a bit more kind of like bend in the body like that. And then again, kind of rough in the gloves at first. You know, ring. Because again, when it is rough, you're not always thinking about proportions. Why you have the tie down phase to kind of correct yourself and say, nope, this is the way the anatomy is actually moving. Because what we know is happening is that the arm is there. And let's actually start with the arm first. The thickness of his arm either. So let's start doing it this way. Glove bits here. And now kind of move a bit of the body away. And we'll see how the glove fits this way. So in this frame, it looks like it seems like the fist to be more directly over the body in that pose. And also we're going to, just because I'm already seen it, to rear him back a little bit. So he's actually pulling back up into it. Maybe just a hair bit more actually. He's really getting himself worked up over this. Might actually move the eye just a hair over. Electricity starts. When did I have the set the next frame? Okay, pulls up, then the electricity starts in the next frame. So over here, shoulder would be coming down from this angle. And again, glove, and ring. Rough for the moment. Sonic characters have really huge hands, so every time you think that you've got them big enough, you look again. Nope, even bigger. Exaggeratedly large hands. Like even here, still bigger. And again, we'll adjust as we go. Just for the moment, kind of feeling out proportions and such. like the glove could be bigger. I'm also wondering now if maybe the pose should be changed, or at least the arm. Like before, we had it going this way, but actually now I'm wondering if maybe it shouldn't be like this. Thinking perhaps that might look better and has a nicer silhouette. Let's work on the feet a little bit first. And then we'll work on that. I suppose we could just rough it in. So maybe just leave this off the side. Or what if it was more like this? And how does that look motion-wise? Is the bigger question. Seeing it both ways, I kind of prefer the first. I think it looks a little awkward for his arm to swing out that way. So we have the arm swing out this way. That's why we do these things. I want to see what it looks like in motion, because the animation is really what kind of defines it. The animation is really what dictates. The animation itself sometimes dictates what looks best. It could also be that this arm is just too far up. Like maybe we just don't see as much of this at all. And we just see the bare hint of that other arm. torso pulling up like that. There. I'm going to try to do we're gonna try and just keep the same shoes for the moment. Maybe tilt them forward just a bit. This whole shoe on this side might come up on its own a bit though. Bit too sharp on the leg bend. And just gonna keep it. I think the other thing bugging me is that the hips and the torso need to also be matching up. Yeah, a little bit of distortion going there that I'm not crazy about. I think that's going to be something that we come back to though. So let's pull our notes off to the side so they won't be in the frame. So let's just see. it can be tweaked a bit more later on, but it's much better. It's much better now that he's closer on model than I had it in the rough. The cleanup. Well, the rough to the tie down. Here, he is focusing all his anger on the heroic trio down below. So let's make sure that is nice and obvious what he is focused on. Sure this is changing up here, the substitution, because we need to add new drawings, not be the same one. 97, 98, 99, 200. And then this will be where the visual effects kick in. With that, the electricity starts here. So let's just add a hint of that electricity. We might even just grab it from the frame here below. Just be starting to build up. So building up around his eyes. So at least for me, I think it's more interesting if it starts from his eyes and starts branching out from there. And then also a little bit from the body itself. Just a little bit of hints that he's starting to get fired up. Doesn't have to be much. Just want it to be noticeable. So when I go back to do the visual effects later. This will take some tweaking as to exactly where is it coming from in his body. And then you kind of snaking out over his quills. visual effects animation is always really fun, because it's the one time where straight ahead animation actually works better. Because you want things to kind of be random and wild and crazy. And precise right now. Suggesting that it's taking over his whole form. Just every part of his body is just energized to the max. Radiating from his core, kind of radiating from the core and the eyes, and just kind of branching out. Oops. I think again, it'll be more of a visual effect, but again, so I think for the moment we're just going to copy these two frames as they are for the moment, and then we'll come back to these later as we decide the visual effects. happy with most of this. I think it's coming together pretty nicely. I think let's put our notes off to the side. I think what we'll do is we will since we want the quills to be correct, we'll just replace that drawing with this. Hi Esther, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. There we go. We'll fix the ears and such later. The quill's kind of on this pose. Yeah. Bit of proportion got out of hand. With that whole scene. And we'll do Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails. Make sure Knuckles is the tallest character. When you see them lined up, it's like, yeah, Knuckles. Yeah, it would be better to say it like this. Receding into the distance. So Knuckles, Sonic, and then Tails. And I think we might work on that next. I think the ones we're going to fix up next are going to be that shot. And then we might do... When he's actually touching the bike, I'll do that next time because I want to nail down the way the bike looks. But then when he's ready to jump off the bike and he's separate from the bike, good, it's going well, and I appreciate the compliment. I'm using Toon Boom Harmony. And I use this on a paid subscription. I think I'm going to see, because technically here he's still using the rockets in his boots. So this last frame, he's doing his anticipation pose here. He's bringing his leg over the bike. Again, it's drawn a little funky. Starts his anticipation. Boots start to ignite, and then he takes off here. I think for this one, I think for the moment, yeah. So we have to also be careful of the size. But again, this is why we're tying down the drawings, because how big is that bike? How big is Shadow? Shadow in the next scene is this big. But here, I think he's actually a little bit smaller because the bike is going to be the biggest thing. So let's bring him down just a little bit. Even though we're still cleaning things up, least give the hint that the rockets in his boots are what's propelling him. So, just a hint of that that blast coming off of his feet. That as a visual effects later. Yeah, if you want to, here, I'll link it in the chat. If you happen to be an animation student, I know they give you a discount, but it is a paid subscription. So do be aware that this isn't a free software, unfortunately. But yeah, Toon Boom is generally considered the studio's standard software. And I use a student license myself. Yeah, so I think we'll do this, and then we'll just continue. I think it's any college student. I do not think they verify, as far as I know, they do not verify that you have to be an animation student. I think all they need is they want you to have that .edu email address. Right, let's look at that for a second. So the antics, the boots start to ignite, and then he launches off screen, the background changes, and then he comes up. Another antic, squash, stretch to that pose, he settles, he looks down at our heroic trio that he does not like. Saying earlier that why won't you just leave me alone, that he says in the movie. Why can't everybody just leave me alone? And that's what gets him going. But again, a bit of my own take on the scene, because I'm not doing any dialogue animation on this. Yeah, no problem. Have you done any animation yourself? Or are you just a college student, or getting ready for college? Just have an interest in animation? There's lots of animation options that you can do without actually being. Lots of colleges tend to offer an animation program, even if it's not at one of the fancier big schools that you have to pay a lot of money for. Things are pricey. Money is no joke when it comes to art school. to start to rough this in here. I think we'll start with the head and then kind of fill the body in around as we go. And again, I'm not going to do the frames here with the boots yet. I think we'll just do these, and then we'll go do Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, and then maybe we'll do their reverse side. So we're about an hour and a half in, probably going another 30-40 minutes. Then we're going to take a break. And then later this evening on the gaming channel, we're going to get back into Donkey Kong Country Returns. Start with this pose, because again, I want to figure out how that bike looks. I drew the bike I was working on the bike in Clip Studio the other day, but I'll draw it later. So let's keep this here. First year student. Very nice. But you've been animating since you were 14. Very cool. And you use Procreate, but you want to switch programs. Yeah, because Procreate is the one that's only available on iPads. Which I don't actually own any Apple products, so I've never... I need to get an iPad. I want to have an iPad, you know, a decent-sized iPad, even if it's an older generation, just to kind of keep as a digital sketchbook. Because all my regular sketchbooks are on paper. But the iPads are just really expensive, and it was difficult enough for me to get a Cintiq. But I'd really like to try out Procreate one of these days. Horrible cold. My nose is bothering me. So what I like to ask everybody what got you into animation. Usually people have a particular show or a particular thing. Like, you watch a lot of anime, you watch a lot of Nickelodeon, or classic Disney, Cartoon Network. For me, it's a bit of everything. 330. 330 is not bad. Bring the music up again just a little bit. Get a little quiet. There's something reasonable for an iPad around that price point. Let's see, that might be on the to-do list this year. We drew the squat pose up here. It's not quite the same, but I think we might take the body from here. Copy that over. Let's try copying the body from here. Let's bring it down a little bit. it in. Gonna wanna rub everything in and see how this goes. Maybe getting closer to something like that. So like this. And then get that big curve up on the boots. Not perfect. But again, tying down the pose. It's here. And then let's bring this over. Ed's World on YouTube. I think I have watched some of their videos. If you're referring to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, yeah, I'm well familiar with that show. I studied animation in Canada, and the Studio B, they've changed the names a couple times, but the Studio B at the time, who was actually was Canadian Studio B, was working on that show, and they were not that far away from where I was studying at. I was in Vancouver at the time, and it was just at the tail end, but I was someone was letting me know that the OBS is getting quiet. Try not to be too quiet. But yeah, I was in the tail end of the Flash animation era, and I know that Teen Titans Go still uses Flash animation for their show. But the studio that was still doing My Little Pony was right around the corner from our school. And just like Teen Titans Go is doing now, they are that My Little Pony show. They really took Flash animation to another level, to the point where you could almost not. Sometimes you forget that it's Flash animation if you're not paying attention or you don't know what to look for. And Teen Titans Go is taking it even further. They do claymation and all kinds of other effects nowadays. And sometimes I still do use Flash animation. I just don't do it as much. Here, I want the antic to start. So let's do a thing where maybe bring this arm back. Cut a bit of the leg there, but that's alright. Let's bring this arm down just a little bit. Let's bring the body back up. fix the gloves and details on the next round. Once we get all the scenes actually laid out and the bike in, then we'll go back and clean things up. Other projects I'm working on. There are several background projects I'm working on. I haven't shared some of them. There was a, how to say, like last year, my big, here, I'll link, where can I link that in chat? Big project I finished last year. I think it's on my Instagram. Where's that? I think this is the whole thing. I'm working on a new storyboard project, but typically I do storyboard stuff. So this one is, that's the Instagram, and that's a link to the last storyboard project that I just did. And it's a kind of a sci-fi comedy based on a really old, obscure game that a friend of mine really enjoys. But I spent a lot of time working on that one, and I'm kind of developing. Where's something else? This one as well is kind of a hint at what I'm working on now. I kind of have a Native American girl, her horse, and her fox, and kind of coming up with a more detailed story for that. Hey Ray, what's going on? Good to see you. And Ray already is in the Discord, but I'll go ahead and link the Discord as well. I'm just putting links all over chat. So whenever I do streams, either for the art channel or the gaming channel, I've been trying to build up the Discord this year. So I put updates in there when I can. What was I doing? I was going to. I wanted to move the eyes a little bit. So when he's jumping off the bike, falls. He's still focused. He's still looking this way. And here, let's bring this over this way. I'm going to have that noticeable change of eye direction. So he antics, and then the boots start to blast off. Boots start to ignite around here. two added later. Have it really be clear that he's looking up. Again, that shoulder is probably going to overlap that cheek in those poses. Maybe it's not doing it right there. Maybe it starts going back and then it overlaps. So then we've got here. Good start to ignite. Takes off. Up. And again, head proportion here, the head proportion for these is a little off. You need to adjust that. Turn it up. Close up. We'll work on the three characters here next. And they're going to have the expression change from kind of a subtle expression, and then they're going to have a surprised expression as they zoom out. And you can almost hear Shadow saying, "You're a colorful bunch. You're a colorful bunch. But why can't you just leave me alone?" And then he charges up, and then we'll do the next few in visual effects later, and then we have this shot to do. Pretty much, there's only a couple scenes left to do. To pretty much do the max side of Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails here. Shadow landing, then it'll zoom in on his face. And then cuts to black. And then all the way at the beginning. Let's just play it. Let's just play it a couple times. So the bike will come in. He slides, he jumps in the air. There's a little bit of timing because I added those scenes, but I didn't retime them. So yeah, basically drawing Shadow in the bike in this pose is one, and then drawing this as it comes down will be two. This will be 3, and then 4. So four scenes left to go. And then the backgrounds and the bike will kind of be its own thing. We're slowly but surely getting close. And I really want to make that bike look good. That's why I'm kind of saving it for last. I really want that bike to pop, since that's the first thing anybody's going to see, is that bike flying in from that upshot. Still connected to the bike, I think we're just going to wait until I'm done with the bike. Let's try to work on Knuckles, Shadows, and Tails with the reaction shot. So it's just mental reminder to myself that stacking perspective. Not like this. Knuckles is the tallest, Sonic next, and Tails being smallest, so it'll be more accurate like this. And then again, they're gonna go from kind of a normal expression to a surprised expression. Let's try to rough rough what their poses are actually going to be. And I think that's where we'll wrap up the stream for today, and we'll probably pick up again on Wednesday or Thursday. Shot from Shadow to show what he's looking at. Where is my sketch from the other day? There we go. Sometimes it just takes a bit of roughing things in to get things right. Let's not start with things so tall. No, don't rename it. I think let's focus on Knuckles first and build our way back. And we'll just kind of rough it in. Rough it in first. And go back. Want them to be in static poses. I didn't plan necessarily plan what their actual poses were going to be. So this is a little bit starting from scratch. Why they call it the tie-down phase. You're trying to tie down your loose, crazy ideas into something manageable. I want to say that they're leaning back. perspective and other things are working. And if we don't finish it right now, there's plenty of time to fix it as we go. You never really see the necks on the characters. Even on an upshot, you never really see the necks of the characters. Very, very seldom. Sneeze and cough directly into the microphone. And Sonic will be just a little bit shorter. Whoops. If it is an upshot, it's still should still have a bit of that turn in the cheeks. Not crazy about how this is turning out for Sonic, but sometimes you just have to fight with the blank page until it works. same thing for Sonic as we did with Knuckles. It's just a head and shoulders shot, but we want them to actually be looking up. The Sonic style is really particular about. It's one of those things where they've overly. There's been so many people that have worked on it and refined it over the years, both of the games and the cartoons. But it's just so graphically designed in such a way that if you don't get the proportions right, it's just sometimes does not click. And right now, it was fine the other day when I drew it, and my muscle memory is just not kicking in. Can I import my... I might just import the image that we did on the other stream and just kind of put that in. Create a single layer. Oh, it went way down to the bottom. I see. I see. We're on this frame though, so we don't need anything from here. So all of this we don't need. Here to these couple frames. I just want to lock something in for this. Yeah, to right here. This to the end. That can go away. See if this will jog my memory. Why are you not letting me move the drawing? I don't want the lasso tool, I want the select tool. Regardless, let's just take a transparency effect on this for a second. Let's just kind of trace over my own drawing for a second. And we'll just use this temporarily until I figure out how I want to do the expression change. I think what's throwing me off is that I have the issue where I can draw something really well in certain angles, and then as soon as I start to turn the figure in a certain way, then that mental image in my head starts to break down a little bit. And then just play with the arms like that. Place. Let's get this horrible monstrosity out of here for the moment. We'll just leave him off to the side. And let's just turn the head up. We'll leave that quill off. Rotate that so that he's looking up. And then let's just bring that up to size. And we'll redraw that. We'll redraw it later on, but this should help us. This will help give us a better starting point for the moment. And most of this quill is going to be behind Knuckles. So let's take that out. Something more like this. Bring that out a bit. Supposed to be, he comes up, he looks down, what's he upset about? It's like, you're a colorful bunch. Why can't you just leave me alone? And then he charges up his energy. We want to know what it is that he saw that aggravates him, so that's why we have the reaction shot of the group. But not least, let's toss Tails in there as well. I think we're going to do the same. I think we're going to do a bit of the same. Tails, as we learn when drawing those, Tails has more boxy. He has that big smart cranium and that box brain of his. And when I actually realized when I was looking at the references as well, again, is that Tails' ears sit more farther back on the head than towards the front. Way too high. The smallest for the group. those bigger kind of like Disney style eyes. Which again we'll fix. We'll work on Tails' design more later. More angle. Again, first is getting things locked in place. And I think the other thing to do is to make sure that this is all there. And again, we'll figure other things out a little later. Because I'm starting to get hungry and that is making me not want to focus. But again, we're getting the idea and the concept locked in. But the thing that is not in the boards so far that needs to be is the expression change. And we want the expression change to happen kind of between these two shots. And I think the way I drew Knuckles is actually going to be the second shot, not the first. With the mouth open. Need these here. Let's pull these up to the top. And they're going to start to recede as the camera pulls back. Maybe we'll start with them having I think we'll start with Tails having kind of the frown. He's a bit confused to start with. Sonic has his, trademark grin. And I'm doing this backward. This needs to be on this frame. Sonic has kind of his trademark grin. Knuckles is just sort of flat mouth. Let's make it so that Knuckles is getting kind of more riled up as they each have their own kind of expression and reaction to Shadow. So Knuckles wants to fight, so he's getting more angry. So let's give him a more sharper expression. And like we talked about earlier, when you get mad, your cheeks raise up. Raise that cheek. When you get mad, you tend to raise your cheek. And then we'll let kind of his brow wrinkle that way. You kind of hear the thoughts in their head. That hedgehog's way more impressive than the one I fought previously. Like, come on, man, give me a break. I'm right here. Maybe Sonic. So even if we're not doing the dialogue, we're kind of suggesting it through their emotions. There. I think Sonic is still grinning at this point. Maybe it's barely starting to change just a little bit. And maybe Tails, is starting to realize this is getting a little out of hand. I don't know, you guys. He seems kind of angry. What does he say in the movie? He's like, I don't know, Sonic. I think this is a bad idea. All the way back, and I think we'll hold this expression, and then if we need a couple extra poses when we do in-betweens later, we can really tie that down even further. We wanted to have the reaction shot be nice and clear so that when we put together the next animatic, everything, the clarity is 100%. Have to be as small as that. Again, we have to think about the way the camera is looking, not the way it looks to us. See there, it's a bit low. Because it's a zoom out. The camera is zooming out, and we're just simulating that camera zoom out. You know what, Tails? I think your eye needs to be... I think that's much better on the camera. And I think that's probably where we're going to leave things for today. Let's just take one good look. Let's turn on the other version so we can see. So yeah, 4 scenes after this: the bike jumping at the start, the bike landing, he comes in, the bike falls over, and then we've got the cleanup drawings start here. Boots ignite. He launches, flies up into the air. Antic, squash, stretch reaction pose. still change a little bit. There's some things in this pose I definitely still want to change. And then reaction shot. Yeah, I might actually show the emotion change on this and hold this and add an extra frame of the emotion changing from here. Maybe it's kind of like a little antic of a surprise, and then go into the emotion, and then start the camera pullback. But I'll add that in later. I might do that off screen since adding frames in Toon Boom can be a little annoying, adding extra scenes. And here we go. We'll do the reverse, and then with him landing, and that'll be 4 scenes. 4 scenes left to go, so probably either by the end of this week, early next week, I think all the scenes should be laid out. And again, I'll be working on the bike. But yeah, we're a little over 2 hours. But I think I'm gonna call things here. I think we're gonna call this the stream for today. A little later this evening on the gaming channel, I've been playing through Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and we're gonna be continuing our journey in that. But I'm gonna take a break for a few hours, probably a couple, maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then I'll post the link when that goes live for the gaming stream, the Donkey Kong stream, and then we'll come back to Shadow on Tuesday, and yeah, probably do a what did I say? Yeah, Monday, probably like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday for Shadow, and then the gaming stuff will probably be on Tuesday and Thursday. But yeah, thanks so much everybody for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, or a follow if you're on Twitch. Ring that notification bell, join the Discord, join the Blue Sky to keep an eye on updates. But thanks so much for watching. I love interacting with you guys. I love hearing your all's animation stories. I hope you like hearing my random thoughts about animation. But and who doesn't love Shadow? It's slowly coming together. It's a little slow going, but it's all coming together piece by piece, little by little. I'm enjoying it. I love animation. I know you guys love animation. So hang in there with me as we get through this, and this is going to turn into a great project by the end. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I will see you all in the next video, or later this evening if you like Donkey Kong or other gaming content. So take care, everybody. I know it's cold out there. Stay warm. We'll see you next time.